All right, so now we're looking at sodium bicarbonate. Similar to sodium phosphate, tends to help aerobic performance, and we're going to dive into that and how you might supplement it, if it's worth your time, if it's safe, things like that. I'm Dr. Droll, and this lecture is brought to you by Scotch tape, and specifically the outer shells of nuclear bombs. Not nuclear bombs, but like the metal encasing of nuclear bombs. So, what is sodium bicarbonate? It's baking soda. Like, go to your fridge or your cabinet right now, baking soda. It's a very basic substance that can potentially help regulate pH in the body, pH being how acidic or basic the blood is, essentially. One of the ways it does this is it binds to hydrogen or H plus ions in the blood, which can later help it to be converted to water. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but H plus ions is likely going to be how you're getting that acidic burn feeling, or known as muscle acidosis, when you're exercising. And it also has a lot of use cases for medical conditions relating to acidosis. So we'll kind of dive into that and how it might potentially help you with your aerobic performance. So the mechanism. When you exercise, and specifically when you exercise that relies on anaerobic glycolysis, so you're no longer in the oxidative system, you're starting to work a little bit harder, you start to accrue lactate and hydrogen ions, H plus as it is. So this is known as muscle acidosis, and this is when that muscle actually starts to burn. Many people think it's lactic acid or lactate. It's neither of those things. It's actually the hydrogen ions making your blood more acidic, or lowering the pH if you want to use the appropriate term. This happens when the intensity is higher than the aerobic system can handle, and it has to be for a certain duration so that you start to accrue those hydrogen ions. This causes that burning sensation, and what sodium bicarbonate potentially does is it increases the extracellular pH, or makes the extracellular pH more basic. So when all these hydrogen ions from exercise start to make the blood more acidic, the sodium bicarbonate can bind to those hydrogen ions and potentially regulate and increase the blood pH, or return it to a more basic baseline, essentially. So kind of preventing that burn from happening and limiting your performance. Which sounds pretty awesome, because I don't know about you, but that burn, especially on something like leg extensions to failure, kind of sucks. So, potential benefits and some potential side effects. So, if you're exercising for longer than 30 seconds to 12 minutes, around that time when you're getting anaerobic glycolysis, this can particularly help that, again, because it's binding to those hydrogen ions and helping keep the blood from getting too acidic, getting that burn. It also improves single and multiple bout exercise, again, tying right in line with helping to bind those hydrogen ions when you start to get that burn. And there is some evidence that there's a strong placebo effect with this medication, or this supplement rather, but that's true with most supplements, and we do have direct evidence showing some benefits to it. So there is some side effects, however, that have a pretty low occurrence, but you should know about them. Bloating, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. Most of these side effects are related to the fact that this is such a strong, basic supplement that when it actually gets into your acidic environment in your stomach, it actually creates a strong release of gas, and can cause some GI upset there. So that's where you'll get most of the side effects. Specifically, a less bad one, but you might burp a lot. So impress your friends. See if you can burp the alphabet. So for dosages, anywhere from 0.2 to 0.5 grams per kilogram is common, with optimal dosages following around 0.3 grams per kilogram. And again, there's likely no additive effect from higher dosages. You should probably take this around 60 to 180 minutes pre-exercise, and there's additive effects from consuming it around 3 to 7 days prior to exercise. You should probably be splitting this up throughout the day, especially leading up into your competition. So like a gram here or there, a gram here or there, etc. Multiple instances, up to 5 instances throughout the day. And we have limited evidence to show that long-term usage may have even more additive aerobic effects in terms of decreasing relative effort for aerobic activities, etc. So this might be something you want to stick on for a long period of time if you don't have a lot of side effects, GI side effects, but we do need a little bit more research on that. So kind of wrapping both of these sodium-based supplements up, there's likely an additive effect of taking sodium bicarbonate with creatine. Again, this is for glycogen repletion and it having direct implications in the ATP-PCR system. Sodium bicarbonate can potentially help exercise anywhere from 30 seconds to 12 minutes, likely acting on the anaerobic glycolysis or that burn portion of exercise. Sodium bicarbonate is a strong base, and it helps by binding up those hydrogen ions that make us feel that burning sensation in the muscle that limit performance. Subsequently, this basic aspect of the supplement is also what causes all of our side effects with the GI upset. This supplement also appears safe, even with long-term medical dosages, but again, this is something, if you're impressed by the safety profile, start it around a competition or exercise that doesn't matter as much, see how you respond, and see if it's something that helps you. Again, hopefully you learned something, hopefully this helps, hopefully you're out there beating everyone in endurance activity, and you can tell them Dr. Joel sent you. Have a great day, and